Well, hello. Can you hear me now? Well, I guess we're back on Shop Talk, and I'm going to hang out here a couple minutes, see if anybody joins in with the program. We are on September the 23rd, and we're going to do Shop Talk on September 23rd at 7 p.m. So let me take these headphones off. They look kind of funky. All right, how's everybody doing? I'm doing pretty good. Got a lot going on, that's for sure. I have been a busy guy. As most of you know, I normally drive a semi to Chicago every night, 5 nights a week. But they decided that they wanted me on day shift. Rumor has it because the other guy that was working day shift was really upsetting a lot of customers. That's rumor, I don't know, but they kind of forced me to go to day shift. I'm not completely thrilled about that, but I'm also doing the best I can to embrace it just because, hey, it's my job. They need somebody on days, I guess I'll go work days. Anyway, I told you at 2 weeks ago on the last Shop Talk, I mentioned that I was going to wait and kind of see how things go because I had thrown out the idea of moving Shop Talk to 8 p.m. For 2 reasons. One is when I'm working day shift, I don't have a time constraint where I have to leave my house at 8 o'clock to go to work. So on day shift, I obviously work days. And one of the reasons I thought about moving it to 8 o'clock was because it makes it easier for me to get home and get set up and everything for this show. And I don't have to run around like crazy. The other reason is I think that with it being at 7 o'clock at night, those of you that might be on the West Coast might have a hard time tuning in because it is only 4 o'clock out there. So that's why I had thought about and threw the idea out there that I might move it to 8 o'clock. Now, with that being said, I have decided to hold off because things change a lot at my job, and my luck, I would move it to 8 o'clock, and then they would change their mind and say, we need you to go back to nights. So right now, I'm just going to leave it at 7. I haven't had any trouble getting home and getting ready for Shop Talk. I will say that I worked until 6 o'clock tonight, so I ran home, grabbed something to eat, and here I am. So anyway, I just wanted to start off with that. Again, we're going to hang out a little bit and see if anybody shows up. Are you going to show up? Anyway, so I was looking at this earlier, and this view is pretty good. That's actually my cell phone over here to the side. And this one kind of seems a little dark, like, hard to see my face. So I'm thinking that maybe it might be time with the sun going down earlier and it getting darker earlier. Maybe it's time for me to put some more light around me. So I haven't had a chance to do that. I just realized tonight that it's getting dark earlier. So anyway, I appreciate all the support, and I appreciate you guys watching my videos and hanging out with me on Shop Talk. Like I said before, I'll say it again. I'm not a mechanic. This is only a time for us to talk about car things, car news, maybe car shows, car events, car interests. If you're watching tonight, hit me up in the comment section below. Tell me where you're watching from and what car you have. And if you stick around, I have some fantastic news at the end of the show. I made a huge decision this weekend. And so if you stick around, I'm going to share that with everybody. So let's go ahead and start with what happened the last couple of weeks. That's what I normally do. Events that I've gone to. So on September the 13th, the only thing I did was got home from work and cleaned up my car, got it all shiny and washed and the dirt off of it, and went to Cars and Coffee. And I got there early, like I always like to do, because you can get a really good parking spot when you go early. I had a chance to connect with several friends, which is really what that's all about, hanging out with your friends. And I realized about 11 o'clock, Cars and Coffee goes from 10 to noon, which is kind of late in the morning, but I guess it is Saturday, so they don't want to rush you. Around 11 o'clock, I noticed that a lot of people were leaving. So I got my phone out and I looked at the weather. Sure enough, there was a storm coming. And everybody realized that and bolted, like took off. Now, I had an appointment to do a double video with some friends of mine that I met at Cars and Coffee over a year ago. And every single time we try to get together, they had something going on, or I was out of town for a car show, or we couldn't, our schedules couldn't come together. So I was supposed to do a video with them that day, and they graciously came all the way up from where they live, which I didn't realize it was a 40-minute drive for them, but they drove up there, and I was like, dude, it's getting ready to rain. You know, what are we going to do, stand in the rain and talk about your cars? I don't think so. So you guys go ahead and bolt back home. The rain was like northwest coming at us, and they live south, so they were able to get back to the house without their cars getting wet. And then actually the next day, on the 14th of September, I went to their place, and I had the opportunity of filming their cars. Now they each have their own Corvette, which is pretty cool. But that's just the beginning of it, because they have other cars in the shed. So we won't talk about all the other cars they have. I don't even remember. I know one's a Camaro Z28. One's a Monte Carlo. They've got a couple Hummer H3 Hummers. So yeah, they anyway, I went down there on the 14th and shot the video. Let me see if I can I want to see if I can find a real quick short little doodad for you. Let's see. That one, this one. Let's see if I can share this with you real quick and show you this is pretty cool. So I'm going to mute that though. Now this is the wife's car, and I had my Insta360 on the back of my Jeep, And that's just a little segment there for you, a little teaser for you. So you have to, you have to come back to my channel here in a couple weeks. I hope to have their video up in a couple weeks. I'm actually behind on my interviews, and like I actually just put a video up the other day on a C10 Chevy pickup that I filmed like the beginning of August. So it's 6 or 7 weeks behind. That's how far behind I am on getting my videos together. I have another interview that comes out, I think, Friday with Scott Settlemeyer. That's pretty cool. You have to check back and take a look at that. It was probably the most difficult the most difficult interview I ever did. First, I was nervous because it was Scott Settlemeyer. He's very down to earth, really nice guy, retired GM employee. But it's Scott Settlemeyer. People are always asking for interviews, and most of the time when I do interviews, it's with, the average Joe in their car. And I was actually doing an interview with him with Thor, which is one of the most incredible Transformer Camaros that I've ever seen. It's amazing. So make sure you check that out on Friday. I think that comes out on Friday. Anyway, back to the schedule. So last weekend was the 19th and 20th. And the Bowtie Nationals was going on down in Indianapolis. And of course, I worked all day Friday. I think I worked like 13 hours on Friday. And thought about going on Saturday. And I have tried 2 other times to go to Bowtie Nationals 2. I tried to go to Bowtie Nationals last year. I actually paid for my registration in advance. I was going to go to the car show, do a drag strip. I paid, I don't know, like a lot of money to register. And then when it got here, it was raining the whole weekend. And I'm like, nope, I'm not doing that. I'm staying home. So I didn't go. And then this year in May, I think it was May, they had another one going on down at Bowling Green, Kentucky, at Beach Bend Parkway. And I took the week off and was going to go to that, and I ended up not going. So twice I've had intentions of going, and I never made it. And then this last weekend, I thought about it, and I'm like, you know what? I work 50 plus hours. I'm tired. I need a day to do nothing. So I stayed home, basically didn't go. Now, this coming weekend is September 27th and 28th. The weather so far looks great here in Fort Wayne. I think there might be a couple of other events going on here locally. I don't know for sure. But I can tell you that Cars and Coffee is still happening, and we're going to still plan on going to that until we just absolutely can't go anymore. And it gets too cold, and then we're all stuck in the house. By the way, I saw a meme the other day. It said, let me show it to you. I'm going to show it to you because I can. Well, wait a minute. I guess I lost my app. It shut down for some reason. Yeah, let me go back here. I want to show you this. It's pretty cool. If I can find it. Here we go. It says, football season is here. I don't care. That pretty much sums it up for me. Like last year, I didn't do the last 2 years. I didn't do it. I didn't even really watch football. I'm a big Iowa Hawkeye fan, and I didn't watch any. Like, because I don't care. Like, I'd rather go do car stuff and hang out with my car friends and things like that. So that's what I did, and you know, so yeah, I'm trying to get back to where I was before, so I can show you some more stuff, and we can continue on with the show. So yeah, the 27th and 28th. Looking forward to Cars and Coffee again, and the weather looks fantastic. Now, after that is October 4th, and my friend Diane and Casey, mother and daughter, they put on a fantastic show down in Anderson, and I think this is the 4th year for it. I was going to show you the flyer, and I can't seem to find it. So 4th of October, 9 a.m. I know it starts at 9 a.m. and goes till 3 p.m. I believe. And that's the show that I won Kids' Choice Award last year at, which blew my mind. I had no idea that I would ever win anything ever at a car show. That's really not my thing. Like, I go to car shows, I pop my hood, I wash it, I dust it off, I try to make it look presentable. But as far as going to a car show to show my car and getting down with a lint brush and like really detailing it, I don't really do that. So I was pretty ecstatic when I won Kids' Choice Award last year. It was pretty cool. So anyway, that's happening on October 4th. And again, the week after that, I'll have another shop talk, and we can talk about what's going on later on in October. So if you are in the Indianapolis area or the Fort Wayne area, or even, Lima, Ohio, or wherever, make sure you check out the RPM show in Anderson, Indiana. It's a pretty good show. Small, but good. So anyway, I want to go ahead now and move into some news. I have been trying to track the information about the recall on the Corvettes, and they have the 23 to 26 Z06 and ZR1 have been recalled because of the car possibly catching fire while you're at the fuel island getting gas in your car. I know this is kind of crazy, and I'm going to say this, but I don't know how many thousands of cars fall into that category, the 23 to 26, Z06, and ZR1. But they've had 2 cars catch on fire. And I think one of the reasons why is because the person left the car run and overflowed the pump overflowed. There's spilled, and it spilled over onto the ignition or onto a coil or something, and ignited a fire. For crying out loud, shut your car off. You're messing it up for the rest of us. Two instances in all the thousands of cars that they build. But GM still has a safety recall on all the cars. They can't even sell them, the Z06 and the ZR1. Like, are you kidding me? They just got done releasing all these different platforms of, ZR1, ZR1X, and the Quail Edition. They're only making 100 of them. Like, are you serious? Like, you just got done overwhelming everybody with all these Corvettes, and then you recall them and put a stop sale on some of the cars. So I know there's a lot of people at dealerships and people trying to get a car, and they're frustrated because they can't because of the stop sale. So since I had my last live, I have contacted two different service departments at two different Chevy dealers, and I've asked them, can I speak to the service manager? And they put the service manager on the phone, and I just asked the question. I'm like, look, has there been any update? Is there a current fix for this? Does GM have a way to solve the problem where this doesn't happen so that they can start reselling or start to, lift the stop sale? And both of the managers told me the same thing. There's no current fix. They don't even have any idea when it's going to be fixed. They don't know if they need to replace a part or change a part or anything like that. They're still trying to figure that out. Are you serious? We're talking about a Z06 and a ZR1. They're both over $100,000 car. And you don't have it figured out yet? Really? Let's figure it out, because that's just crazy. I think it's ridiculous, really. And it blows my mind that somebody went to the store and bought a car that was $100,000, and now they have a recall on them. People are still driving their cars, I'm sure. People are just being extra cautious. I mean, I wouldn't stop driving my car because of the recall. I would continue to drive it. Just like I did when they had the Camaro recall. I didn't even take my car in because they told me they were going to remap my computer, and I'm like, you can't do that. I've had tunes done on my car. So I never took my car in for the security issue that they had last year. So anyway, I just wanted to touch on that real quick. And then I want to tell you something. I don't normally sit and watch races all the time, but because I have a daily email that comes from GM Authority, I heard the good news, and this happened real close to here because it was in Indianapolis, but the the Corvette Z06 GT3R race car number 3, got 4th place last weekend at the race down at the Brickyard in Indianapolis. How cool is that, right? I guess they said it was a 6-hour race. I'm not real familiar with it. It's IMSA is the series, I believe. And so I was pretty excited because I saw in the emails that I got, they showed photos of the car. It's really incredible. I'd love to see the car up front in person. It's yellow. But anyway, it got 4th. It started in 4th place, which is a second row start. And then it ended up getting 4th place in the race when the checkers fell. It got 4th place. That's pretty cool, right? I think it's pretty cool. Well, with that being said, again, I'm a truck driver, so things happen when you drive a truck that you don't really expect to happen until they happen. And I want to show you something. I was driving up 69 and I saw this. How cool is that? I know that most of you probably are like, you're stupid. That's not a big deal. All that is a car hauler. Yeah, but if you look at it right there, it says Z06 GT3R. So the winning car is in this semi going up the highway, and the Music Man got an eyeball on it. Now, how cool would it be as a truck driver? I'm not going to lie. I'm a musician, and my whole life I dreamed of being able to go on the road as a musician, a paid musician, a rock star. Let's just put it out there. I've always wanted to be a rock star. Who doesn't? If you're a musician, that's one of your dreams, is to be a rock star and travel the world and play music, because that's what we love. That's what we do. The second best thing that would be really cool as a musician that drives truck for a living is to be able to drive one of these car haulers. How cool is this? Like, all they do is go from race to race. They sleep in the cab. They help unload cars and help reload them. And I got to see this truck on the highway. How cool is that? Now, GT3R, Z06, Corvette Racing, Customer Racing. It says Corvette. I'm going to show you a better one. It's kind of, I got bugs on the windshield, but right there it says GT3R. How neat is that, right? Going up the interstate, I got to see this semi. What are the chances of that? I was literally on the interstate for about 8 miles. And during that 8 miles, I was able to see this truck. I thought that was pretty neat. And I thought I would, share it with you because I think it's cool. You might not think it's cool, but I think it's cool. Anyway, so I wanted to show you that. The winning, the Corvette GT3R was going up the highway. It won in Indianapolis last Sunday, got 4th place, and then it was going up the interstate on Monday, and I got to peep it. So how cool is that? So the other news that I have before I actually get into what I really want to talk about is they're saying that GM is getting ready to release another small block engine, and they're going to start putting it in some of their vehicles and possibly the C8 Corvette. That's pretty cool. I have it listed here somewhere. I guess I lost it. Okay, so the C5 Corvette has a Gen 4 small block. Wait. I'm reading that wrong. The Gen 3 small block with the C5 Corvette, the Gen 4 small block with the C6 Corvette, and the latest Gen 5 small block was put in the C7 Corvette. However, when the C8 came out, they didn't change from what they had already had going on in the cars. And so they're talking about releasing this. Mark Roos, the GM president, said that they're going to start putting that in some of the full-size pickups, the Silverado and the Sierra. The new V8 is expected to deliver significant efficiency and refinement gains, and they possibly will start putting that also in the C8. And they're predicting that they're going to do that in 2027. So how cool is that? I think that's great news, that they're continuing to make it better. So I don't know any more of the details from that. Like I said, I read the article in GM Authority, and I wanted to share that with you. I think that's fantastic news. And now I see that a couple people have dropped in and then dropped back out. Thanks for joining me. If you get a chance when you're watching the show, hit me up with the comment on where you're from and what car you drive. I would appreciate that interaction with the people that subscribe to my channel. Is my hope and dream to be able to talk to you and have conversation with you and Maybe if there's something I can help you figure out, I can help you figure out. If I don't know the answer, I'll get it and get back with you. But anyway, Shop Talk is about cars and news and having fun and going to car shows and things of that nature. So anyway, so this last weekend, as you know from my channel, I have a lot of car content. Most of my car content is on my Camaro because I have a Camaro. And then the other thing that I talk about a lot is the Corvette. And the reason why I talk about the Corvette is because I want one really bad. Well, I decided that this last weekend, I decided that I was going to put my Camaro up for sale. And it is up for sale. I made a video. I did a walk around on the car. I showed you all the things that have been done to the car. If you haven't watched the videos from the dyno stock, and then I have a stage 3 modification video out, and I talked to Sean, the guy that built my car. We walk around the car and he tells us everything about it. He puts it back on the dyno, and we get a dyno number on 93 octane, which was 520 horse, I'll just tell you. And then I went back a couple weeks ago and I put it back. He put it back on the dyno on E85 because I wanted to know what my numbers were on E85, and my number horsepower to the back wheel was 541 horsepower. And that's pretty impressive. That's almost 550. When I did my build, I wanted to stay naturally aspirated. I didn't want to go supercharger or anything like that, so I stayed naturally aspirated. And I did my build, and I'm telling you what, I've had nothing but a blast with my Camaro. And I love my car. I love it. But the thing is, you can see it picture right back here on the wall. Is, you know, I guess this is where I need to be, but that's a picture that was taken last year at Camaro Fest. Me going down the drag strip. It was actually the lady that took the photo that the way she took it, thought she was getting it, thought this guy was her husband. Like, anyway, it was pretty cool how that ended up getting. I get it. I got that. And then this picture back here on the wall is from this year's road course that I did, which was a blast. I've had nothing but fun with my car. It's 100% reliable. I've got 15,000 miles on it. I haven't had any issues with it at all, none. Anyway, I decided to sell my Camaro. Now I'm not going to give it away. So if nobody buys it, I'm not upset. I love my car. I'll keep it. It's not that big a deal. But at this point in my life, I decided to sell it and get a Corvette. So if you're interested in my Camaro SS 1LE with 541 horsepower to the back wheel on E85, send me an email. We can talk about it. If you look in the description of the video, you'll see that I have it. I have the price that I'm looking to get out of it. I'm obviously not going to give it away. I got a lot of money into it, invested in it. It's a blast to drive. Am I going to stop being a Camaro guy? Nope, not at all. I'm actually wanting to just change things around, and I'm wanting to get a Corvette so that I can have a Corvette as my main number one car. And then in the future, when I get that in place, I plan on getting a 5th gen. I want a 5th gen car really bad. I drove one last year. I almost bought it. I didn't buy it, and I want a fifth gen. I want to see what it's like to be the owner of a fifth gen Camaro. I have one in the back of my mind that I want to buy. I don't know if I'll ever be able to buy it, but that's my goal. So if you're watching and you're a Camaro person and you're like, dude, why are you selling your Camaro? Rest assured, I'm wanting to move on from the one I have and get a Corvette and also get a different Camaro, an older one. So there's that. That's my news. That's how I feel right now. Again, if nobody buys the car that I have, I'll continue to drive it. I'll continue to love it. I'll continue to do things with it. I'll continue to go to Cars and Coffee with it. It's no skin off my teeth if I don't sell it. I'll keep it, wait a couple years, and still buy a Corvette. But I really want a Corvette, so that's why I made the decision, because I don't need to have, I can't afford to have 3 or 4 really super expensive cars. That's it. I'm just going to be honest with you. That's where it's at. Like, I would love to have a huge barn with 8 or 10 cars in it, but I can't. I have other responsibilities, and I'm not going to live in the barn. I have to have a house and everything else too. So anyway, if you are watching the channel right now live, hit me up in the comment section, will you? Throw me a comment, say hi, tell me where you're from and what car you have. I see there's a couple people watching. Would love to talk to you and find out where you're from. And I just wanted to share that with you. So please understand, I did list my car for sale, but it's not the end of the world. If I sell it, I'm going to get another Camaro after I buy a Corvette. So that's my plan. And it's a process. I've realized that some of my friends that have 5 and 6 cars, they don't ever drive them. They just look at them. They don't drive them. I'm not that kind of guy. Whatever I have in the garage, I want to drive it. Even if it's a really cool 5th gen, and I really struggling with saying what car I want, because the person that has the car I want might be watching, so I'm not going to say it. But the 5th gen that I really want is one of those cars that you drive around here. You take it to local Cars and Coffees. You don't really drive it to Morgantown, Pennsylvania. You don't drive it to Camaro Fest in Bowling Green, Kentucky. It's the kind of car that you trailer there. And eventually, when I get to the point where I can trailer a car and I get closer to retirement, that's what my plan is to be able to retire and take my car to a car show in a trailer. But for right now, my life doesn't, my life doesn't, what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't allow for that. So the car I have is the one I drive all the time. And then in a few years, when I get to that place and I have a 5th gen, hopefully the one that I have my eye on, you guys are going to freak out like it's freaking bad to the bone. I'm telling you. So if you're interested in my Camaro, there's information on that video on how to buy it. Send me an email, and And then I plan on getting a Corvette. I actually looked at one last weekend, and I was literally 30 minutes late from getting it because a guy walked in and bought it before I got there. C7 1LT. Nothing fancy, but it was a beautiful car. I don't have photos of it, so I'm not going to share those with you, but the guy bought it before I could get there and get it. So anyway, I want a C7 manual. That's kind of where I'm starting when I sell my Camaro. That's the plan. So I wanted to say thanks for hanging out with me tonight on Shop Talk. I hope I didn't stammer around, and I appreciate you stopping by and hanging out with me on Shop Talk. If you watch the show after it posts to my channel, give me your thoughts. Tell me what you think about it. You think I'm crazy? I mean, it's just one of them things. I want a Corvette really bad, and I can't stop thinking about it. All I do all day long is look at Corvettes for sale. And I want a C6 or C7 manual. It's that simple. And so anyway, thanks for hanging out with me on Shop Talk. I will see you in 2 weeks, and I hope that you have a great time in the next couple of weeks. Make sure you get out and enjoy your car and the weather, because if you live up north or in the Midwest, winter's coming. So get out and enjoy it as much as you can before that happens. And thank you for hanging out with me today on Shop Talk Music Man. I am out.